You know that feeling, right? You're in a big meeting, some exciting new plan gets announced, and all you can think is, have these people ever actually seen how we do things around here? It is such a common and honestly frustrating feeling, that huge disconnect between the folks in the office and the people on the front line. Well, today, we're going to talk about a really powerful idea designed to fix exactly that.
So what's really at the heart of this problem? It's this great divide. See, on one side, you've got management. Let's call them the generalists. They're all about the lofty goals, the big picture stuff. But on the other side, you've got the staff, the specialists, and they're living in the real world of detailed work and practical day-to-day problems. Now, this isn't about good guys and bad guys, not at all. It's a systemic gap, a disconnect between making the decisions and actually having to live with the reality of carrying them out.
So, okay, what happens when those big, lofty goals don't get met? Well, you can probably guess. The blame game starts, and it almost always flows downhill. From where management is sitting, hey, the plan was great, so the problem must be with the execution, right? And so they blame their staff, and a lot of the time, they are completely in the dark about the real-world obstacles and all the complexities their teams are actually up against.
And on the flip side, how does the staff react? Well, a lot of the time, it's with this exact attitude. You see, specialists on the front line can get totally hyper-focused on their one specific task. They'll say, hey, I did my part perfectly. If something went wrong later, well, that's someone else's problem. But what's so wild about this is how self-defeating it is. I mean, doing your own little job perfectly isn't going to help you much if the whole company ends up going under, is it?
And this right here is the really damaging result. You've got management focused on shareholders and employees focused on just their own jobs. So in that kind of environment, who's actually looking out for the company itself? More importantly, who is focused on the customer? This kind of internal division, it can just slowly but surely erode the entire organization from the inside out.
Okay, so how do we fix this mess? I mean, how do we get everybody pulling in the same direction? Well, that brings us to our solution, and it's a concept called the Gemba.
So what is the Gemba? Well, in Japanese, it literally means the actual place. And in a business sense, that's exactly what it is. It's the factory floor. It's the retail store. It's the operating room. Maybe it's the software development hub. You know, wherever the real work is actually happening. It's where value is created for the customer. It is not a meeting room. It is not a spreadsheet. It's reality.
And here is the crucial point, right? The Gemba, it acts as the bridge. Think of it as the common ground, where the big picture generalists from the office and the detail-oriented specialists from the front line can actually meet, communicate, and solve problems together. It's where theory is forced to confront reality, head-on.
And you know, this whole approach, it really builds a completely new way of working. It's all about taking those ideas out of the boardroom and putting them to the test where it actually counts. I mean, this really shows a fundamental shift in how you approach things. The old way? That's all about forecasting, making plans and predictions in an office, totally removed from the action. But the Gemba way? That is all about testing. It doesn't matter who has the idea, its true value is only ever discovered through real-world application, right there on the Gemba.
And what this does is it creates this powerful new collaborative cycle. Okay, so first, management and staff, they generate ideas together. Second, they actually go to the Gemba and they test those ideas out in a practical way. Third, and this is key, they learn from what actually happens, not from what they thought would happen. And finally, they implement solutions that are based on that hard, real-world evidence. You see, the ultimate goal here isn't just about making better plans. It's about a much deeper understanding. Think about it. When a manager has seen the challenges on the shop floor with their own two eyes, and when a frontline worker really gets the why behind a new strategy, that's when they can finally solve problems together effectively. The truth is, one just can't succeed without the other. Okay, this all sounds great, right? But what about our modern, globally connected world? I mean, how does this possibly work when teams are spread out all over the world and leaders are constantly on the move? Well, that brings us to a really cool idea, the digital Gemba.
And this really is the key question for today's workplace, isn't it? Being there physically, on the Gemba, that's the gold standard for sure. But it's just not always possible. So how do we keep that vital connection alive when we can't all be in the same room?
Well, this is where technology can offer some pretty incredible solutions. I'm talking about cutting-edge stuff like virtual and augmented reality, which can create these super immersive, real-time remote experiences. But you know, you don't even need a futuristic headset. Even simple digital apps on any smartphone can help bridge that gap.
letting leaders see data, communicate clearly, and make priority calls from literally anywhere.
But, and this is maybe the most important point about the technology, it's just a tool. That's all it is. You could have the most advanced, expensive VR setup in the world, but if it's not being used to build communication and understanding, it's basically useless. Its real effectiveness is determined by how we use it, not by the shiny tech itself.
Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's turn the focus back to you and your own workplace. It's time to ask some pretty tough questions about how your organization really measures up. I want you to really think about your company for a second. Does everyone actually get the right information at the right time? Is the information you're getting even reliable and up to date? And what about the flow of decisions and feedback? Is it just a one-way street from the top down, or is it a real two-way conversation? And here's a big one. Are leaders actually held accountable for the real-world impact of their decisions? These questions, they really get to the heart of whether your organization has a healthy Gemba culture, whether it's digital or not.
And that brings us to the final and, maybe the most important question of all that you can ask. The technology that you use at work, is it designed to support your people, to help them make better, faster decisions and empower them with information? Or is it being used to automate those decisions for them, taking out the human element and creating an even bigger gap between the plan and the reality? That's definitely something to think about.